Okay, Likkutei Torah, Devarim, page Aleph, 15 lines from the bottom of the first column. Okay, now the Rabbi started off the Maimer by saying about seeing b'mishpat tipativ shever b'tzedakah, and then he brought the passage that says, Asher nechim b'tzavcha hayim, every day it has to be, Torah mitzvahs have to be brand new. And he says, how is it possible? So he says that the ultimate purpose of the neshama's descent, it comes from its lofty level all the way down, and he says, all the, it's the level of Sefer Kolam and Malak Kolam, and he explains that the purpose of the neshama coming into the body is the level of Meidim Anachnu Lach, which means there's a disagreement, and we admit to you. So he says, okay, what's the disagreement? So he starts explaining there's Hashem's perspective and there's our perspective. Hashem's perspective is He is something, world is nothing. Our perspective is we're nothing, we're something, we don't understand it. And that's what we say, Meidem Anachnu Lach, that we agree to you that the reality is He's the real existence, Hashem is the real existence, and we're nothing. So he says, Achim calls there 15 lines in the end of the first column. This admission is from distance, meaning he's not physically close to the thing he submits to. It's only the level of Amunah, which is a level of superficial. In other words, when a Yid says, that you're right, that it's your perspective, that comes from Emunah. Emunah is very superficial. Like he quotes the famous Gemara, a Ganav, when he's about to break in, davens to Hashem, okay? So he said like this, because before the Alter Rebbe started to explain what is the difference between Maidim, Haidah, and Bracha. So he says, he finishes Maidim. What does Maidim mean? I admit to you, but it's through Amunah, which is superficial. Aval Bracha, at the level of Bracha, when you say Bracha, is the level of Gili revealed. Kamei Yishmol B'ni Barcheni. It says that Rabbi Yishmol, it's a song already, from Friedheim. Rabbi Yishmol's neshama went up to heaven, and Hashem said to him, Barcheni B'ni, bless me. Hashem said to him, bless me. Now what does it mean Hashem said, bless me? Bracha means to bring down. So he said, Barcheni means, God, bring me, Rabbi Yishmael, B'ni, Yishmael myself, bring me down. Or like we say, Baruch Hashem min ha'elam ad ha'elam. Hashem should be blessed or revealed. From the hidden worlds to the revealed worlds, Shenimshach min ha'elam diskasya. That Hashem becomes revealed. From the hidden worlds, ad ha'elam is guided to be revealed. We are the ones revealing the hidden level of Hashem into the revealed world. How do we do that? Through these commandments I'm commanded you today, meaning through this you reveal the essence of the neshama. You have to first, before you come to you need to have the level first of V'yohavta. And then through this you get to the levels of the brachas of Shmoneser. Hainu shebein b'chinis seidah. Legabi bracha is a level of ahava. So he says like this: there's a level of bracha, there's a level of heidah, or first heidah and bracha, and in order to do that, you have to have the level of, like he says, ahava. Okay, we'll see soon what that means. So in other words, like this. In order to bring down Hashem into the revealed worlds, or rather, to reveal the level of Amunah, which is concealed and hidden, into permeating ourselves, which is revealing it, you have to have the level of V'yohavta. You have to have the level of love. What does that mean? So he says in base like this. In order to come to the level of V'yohavta, how do you come to love Hashem? Like we learned many times, the Maggid's famous question, how can I command you to love? I command you to do, I command you not to do. But a feeling, I can't command you. I can tell you eat something. You hate it, you'll eat it anyway. I can command you do something. You don't want to do it, you'll do it. You can do it anyway. It's possible. You hate something, I can make you do it. You love something, I can tell you not to do it. But on a feeling, it's either I love or I don't love. How can Hashem command us to love Him? So the Maggid explains, the mitzvah is to not the ahafta. The mitzvah is to meditate into Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. When you meditate into Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the ahafta doesn't mean you should love. The ahafta means you will love. And that's what he says.
But in modernity, there is no love, right?
It's complete submission. There's no meditation. It's the essence of the neshama saying to Hashem, I'm yours. Then you need davening, and then you come to the second maidim, which is after davening at, middle of Shema Amida, but that's it. Pirush kinei abriya yesh miyayin. Bria, creation, I skipped the line. It's for his brain, Shema Yisrael, Baruch Shem Kved Malchus Olam Vod. Pirush, which means, Hine, Bria Yesh Miyayin. Bria is, as they say in English, ex nihilo. Something from nothing, like it says, Baruch Shem Kved Malchus Olam Vod. What does Baruch Shem Kved Malchus mean? Shepachin is Malchusei. The level of Baruch Shem Kved Malchusei. The level of Hashem's Malchus, Mashanikra Melech Aleihim, that He's called King over them, Shein and Bechinas Atzmius, which is not the essence of Hashem, who Amachaya Kol HaElim, this is what gives existence to all the worlds, Umemshaltcha, which is even lower than the level of Melucha, Shemei Shabbat, I'll explain in a second, Shalei B'Teivasan, and that's the level of Chitzenius Midas Malchus, right? That's the level of B'chol Dar V'Dar. Okay, we say like this. When you say somebody is a king, that is the way the king relates to subjects. If there's no subjects, he can't be a king. You need subjects, if not, you're not a king. Now, the fact that the king is relating to subjects shows, and what's a subject? Like we learned, you cannot be a king over your own children because they're an extension of you. The definition of a king is there are foreigners that subjugate themselves to you. So when you say that concept of Melech by Hashem, Malchusei, Baruch Shem Kved Malchusei, Malchuscha Malchus Kol Olamim, the Malchus gives life to all the worlds. And then even more than that, Umemshaltecha, we say in the Parshat, Malchuscha Malchus Kol Olamim, Umemshaltecha. What's the difference between Malchus and Memshala? Malchus is the subjects agree to be, that you're their king. Memshaltecha is a dictatorship. That's Parshat in Hebrew. You have Melech and Meishal. Melech means a king that people accepted as a king. Meishal means a dictator. Against your will, I'm your leader. I'm going to control you. So that's even lower than the level of Malchus. Malchus is at least the subjects agreed to be your king, to be your subjects. Memshala is against. So the Alter Rebbe is saying over here, when we say Baruch Shem Kved Malchus Leil Void, we already are saying that that's the level of Malchus, which is not the essence of Hashem. Malchus is the lowest of all the attributes. The last of the Sfiras is Malchus. Because Malchus automatically deals with foreigners. Therefore, how did Hashem create the world? With speech. Speech is a level of Malchus. So Malchus is the level of Elokus that gives life to the world. And yet, that's not the essence of Hashem. The essence of Hashem is not the way God creates worlds. We said there's an expression, Chassidus brings down, Loi zeu ikar Elokus, ma shemachaya elamis. The primary function of God is not that He gives life to the world. That's one speech creates the universe. That's like nothing. The essence is much greater. All the worlds. Even the lower level of Gan Eden, which is is in infinitely greater enjoyment. Even the lowest level of Gan Eden is infinitely greater pleasure than Olam Hazeh. The Gemara says about Acher, motiv de Ladaina. it's worth for him to be judged in Gehenna, to burn in Gehenna, in order to come to Gan Eden. That means Gan Eden is a tremendously great pleasure. And then there's even higher aliyahs, world to world, to level, and that's only for Malchus. That's only the world of Malchus. And not only that, the creation of worlds, of creations. When we say the world was created, yesh mi'ayin, like we said, learned many times. The Ramban at the beginning of Chumash says the word bara in Hebrew, when you use the word bara, means yesh mi'ayin, something from nothing. That's the definition of the word bara. So the question is, why do we say yesh mi'ayin? Hashem is the real existence. So one answer is from our perspective, like we just learned. From our perspective, we exist. God, we got to think about. But there's another interpretation that Rebbe is saying here. Why is it called yesh mi'ayin? Because creation comes from that level of godliness that's nothing compared to God. It's only ayin, it's only a slight revelation, meaning one word created, b'dvar Hashem shemayim nasu. The universe was created with one word of Hashem's mouth. The whole creation comes from the level of ayin compared to Hashem. It's non-existent. The level of godliness that creates the world is the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. So therefore, what's he saying? When a person meditates into Shema Baruch Shem, that the whole world's existence, the whole universe, is only ayin, nothing, sheba nothing, sheba nothing, so that's going to cause love to Hashem. And he says, ayin Parshat and gamzeis einim mislavish b'teiches, and even the level of Malchus is also not permeating. It's aimed alemu ma'ila b'chinas makiv. In other words, like this. Now the Alter Rebbe is explaining a second aspect. A king controls from the distance. The king doesn't go around the country on a regular basis to everybody and telling them what to do. The king sits in his palace and he gives orders. Many people of the government never saw the king. And yet, he controls them in a way of makif. It's not pnimi, because they never internalized it, they never saw him. How do they? It's a level of makif. Or commercial, the king's name is called, the king's personally, in person, the king's never there. It's his name that controls. So in other words, what is the meditation over here? Number one, it's only from the level of Malchus. It's a level of ayin. Secondly, even this level of ayin that creates the world is also only superficially felt.
Why ayin is Malchus?
What?
Why level of ayin is Malchus?
Because Malchus is the lowest of all levels. And therefore, compared to the higher levels, it's called nothing.
Malchus is the highest authority, highest last word.
Correct.
So why is it lowest?
Because Malchus in the source, in its source, is the highest. I'll give you an example. Dirt is a level of Malchus. It is. Okay? Dirt is the lowest thing, correct? But only dirt can produce vegetation and nothing else could. Dafka, the lowest, which is Malchus, the same thing, women are also Malchus, which are the receiving end. Yet only women can have a baby, not men.
So Malchus in its source is the lowest, but is the highest?
Malchus, because it's lowest in the source, it's the highest.
No, its source is the lowest because it receives from everything else.
No. And that's down here it receives. Down here it receives from everything. No, over there it's the highest level.
It's the lowest of all the spheres.
It's not.
What regard
I mean, it's the highest for the next word.
No, it's not.
The next word.
In the source of Malchus, the way it's mushrish all the way up there, Malchus is the highest.
So why is it
Therefore, down here it comes down in the lowest.
No, down here it's the highest, the melech. Up there it's
The attribute of Malchus is what's the last of the spheres?
So yeah, up there it's the lowest. It's the lowest of the spheres.
Down here, what's the lowest of the attributes? In Eilam Asiyah, what's the lowest? There's 10 spheres in Asiyah? Is the lowest or the highest?
It's the lowest.
Okay, so what are you asking? In the source, it's the highest, but down here.
Practice in any country, Malchus is the highest authority, absolute authority. The last word.
Who has to have, according to halacha and realistically by the Yidden, who has to have, which Jew needs to have the greatest level of bittul? The king. That's why it says in the Gemara, once a king bows by Shemona Esrei, he doesn't get up. A king, ein olav ela Hashem Elokav, a king has to have the greatest level of bittul.
Because it's so great, because it's the greatest.
But down here it's the lowest, so therefore he needs the greatest bittul. And he does. If he's a proper king, he has bittul. Achine calls that's only mitzat seder ishtaushel v'savasel mitzal. So from the world, you look at the world is comes from the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. It's ayin, it's malchus, and even that superficially and so on. That's in the higher worlds. But in this world, I de tshuva ma'asim tovim yuchlam shegilui atzma seinsav baruch hu mamish. Only down here can you reveal the essence of Hashem. You do a mitzvah, one tiny little mitzvah, you connect to the essence of Hashem. And not only that, so he says, number one, what's this baininess in Shema? The meditation of Shema is, as Alter Rebbe is saying over here, the worlds are nothing, 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 and yet only in this world can we capture the essence. And he said, this is also what you need to understand. In Gan Eden, you only go up gradually. Like it says, you have first kafakela to get cleansed, then you go to Gehenna, then you have the lower Gan Eden, then you have to go to the mikveh Nar Dinor to go to the higher Gan Eden, and that takes time. But in this world, remember we learned in the other Maimer, the Alter Rebbe says, why is tshuva only good in this world? Because this world is Seviv Kolalmi. It's not Yishtaush, it's not Mamale, it's not entityed yet. It's not limited yet. But you can instantaneously change from one extreme to the next extreme. Like you said, to the din. Person does kedusha with a woman on the condition he's a tzaddik gomor, so the din is suffik mukadesha. But it means, why is it mukadesha b'suffik? Afilu rasha gomor. The Gemara says this. The Rambam brings it down. Even if he's a complete rasha, Shemi here did tshuva, maybe he did tshuva in a split second. In a split second, he did tshuva.
I think it's several times.
What? Yeah, I know you're a mamish tzaddik. I know. So how could he change from one extreme to another extreme in a second? How down here in this world do we capture the essence of Hashem? So he says, because it's saving. And like we learned at great length in the other Maimer, because saving is not defined yet, you could change the definition. Therefore the Mishnah says, and that's the level that is better, Mireiv Kol, from all the level of Kol, meaning even higher than Olam Haba Nikra Kol. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe is saying like this. How does a Jew reveal godliness down here? It's through meditation of Shema and Baruch Shem. What is the meditation of Shema and Baruch Shem? Number one, that the whole world is nothing. And even the nothing that the world is ayin, which is Malchus, comes in a superficial way. And yet, in this world, in one split second, you can connect to the essence of Hashem. And not only by one mitzvah you connect to the essence of Hashem, you can transform from one Rasha Gamur to Tzaddik Gamur in a split second.
What did we get from Mudani here?
We didn't talk about Maidani. We spoke about there's submission and then there's davening. Now what's davening? Davening is bringing down a lukus from one world to the next world. Okay? And he says, what is that davening concept? The meditation of Shema and Baruch Shem. And he says, L'chein yevi ahavte b'chol nafshcha b'mesiras nefesh v'lei mesiras haguf bilvad. And here the Alter Rebbe is adding another point. The expression is mesiras hanefesh, mesiras nefesh. Yeah, a guy breaks his thing, it's mesiras nefesh. Even if you don't give up your will, just giving up your will is mesiras nefesh. L'chein, it would make sense to say mesiras haguf. The neshama wants to be bottled. The neshama is bottled to Hashem. What are we breaking? What are we transforming? The body. Why is it called mesiras nefesh and not mesiras haguf? So he said, therefore, but mesiras nefesh, v'lei mesiras haguf bilvad. Yeah, we give up the body, but it's more than that. We're giving over the neshama to reach a higher level than the neshama could reach without it. Not only is it giving up the body, you're giving up the nefesh. V'tachlis lahamshich ein. So what is the ultimate goal of the neshama's aveda? To bring down ein of seviv lamata. How? Ayidei Torah mitzvahs. So then he says, that's what it says, Vayidvar ma'ela, asher nechi misha nechi, mitzavchalos in his kashrus. And therefore he says like this. The meditation of creation of worlds is a world is coming from zilch level of Hashem. How does a person, he says, how does a person bring down that level? Which is Torah mitzvahs. Why? Because in this world, Asher anechi mitzavcha hayim, this mitzvah comes from the anechi, the level of the essence of Hashem, and therefore it says Asher anechi mitzavcha hayim. Why does it say hayim? So the Gemara says because today we do mitzvahs and tomorrow we get the schar. In Gan Eden you can't do mitzvahs, which means where do you get this level of anechi binding you mitzavcha is only a hayim in this world. So in other words, what is his baininess? In the essence of Hashem, which is way above time and place. So if you're bringing down that level of anechi, so then every day could be new. Because you're not limited in time and place anymore. You bring that through the level of tshuva, meaning instantaneous connection with Hashem. And not only connection with instantaneous transformation of evil to good, so then you're talking about a level above time and place. So when you realize that, every day it's brand new. There's no such thing as yesterday and tomorrow. Today is today, and yesterday is today, and tomorrow is today. On that day. The question that Alter Rebbe asked at the beginning of the Maimon is, how is it possible that every day Torah mitzvah should be brand new? It's not. It's 3,000 years old. How can you, the same tefillin every single day. When a kid puts on tefillin for the first time, they're all excited. And after 10 years, they're not that excited anymore. Why? Because in the realm of time, 10 years later is old. But if you're dealing with a level of which constantly above time and place, then every day is the same thing.
The mitzvah that was given 2,500 years ago is not going to change today or 10,000 years ago.
Correct. But when we realize that concept of where we bring down the mitzvah from, so then it's taka new. It's new. Taka means, really.
That's why the Omer every day is a new day.
The what?
And they're counting the Omer.
Every day is a new day. Every day has to shine. Every day is a new day.
Every day is a bracha.
Not only a bracha. we're connecting to the essence of Hashem. You put on tefillin, you're connecting to the essence of Hashem. So if a person realizes, right now, when I'm putting on this tefillin, I'm connecting to the essence of Hashem, then it's like no. Instead of saying I did it already.
And this tefillin that I put today is different with the one I put yesterday.
Not the physical tefillin. Your action of tomorrow is supposed to be better than the action of today.
It's a different connection.
A higher connection. Because, let me ask you a question. If tefillin one-time deal makes you connected, why do I have to put on tefillin tomorrow?
It's a different day.
1 minute. We learned already. There are certain mitzvahs that are one every 50 years. Some mitzvahs are every 7 years. Some mitzvahs are once a year. Yeah? Shofar, lulav, is once a year. You don't blow shofar every day. You don't bench lulav and esrog every day. That means, what does that mean? That doing it once a year, that hamshacha velokus, that connection to Hashem, lasts for a year. Next year you got to do it again. Third mitzvah, Shabbos is weekly. That means when I make Kiddush, biblical mitzvah, Kiddush and Shabbos, it's good for the week.
And the bris once a year.
A bris is once a lifetime, correct. And now, tefillin, I have to put on every day. But I put on, why isn't it good for a week, a month, a year? Because certain revelations of godliness are daily, some are hourly. Davening is not once a day, davening is 3 times a day. Learning Torah is constant. In other words, so obviously if I put on tefillin tomorrow, it's not the tefillin of today. Because if it's the tefillin of today, why do I have to put it on tomorrow? I did it already.
But it's the same hamshach at different level, different revelation.
Yeah. Food is food. Every day you eat different food. It's the same revelation differently. Because today, you're a day more advanced. So you're supposed to be a day older, smarter, mature, greater.
So today's tefillin greater than yesterday. It's not just different, but it's greater.
Not the tefillin, the mitzvah of tefillin. Yeah, because if not, why did you do it today if you did it yesterday already?
It has to be greater. It could be also less.
Because remember, stop to think there are mitzvahs that rule, like you said, bris meal is lifetime, and mitzvahs once every yovel is 50 years, and shmita, and yearly, and monthly, and daily, and hourly. Because they're different hamshachas. Obviously it's like that, because it doesn't make sense any other way. Why is tefillin daily and lulav once a year? So it's a different hamshachah that has to come down. The same thing, I'll give you an example. Hashem could have made us that we eat once a week. He could have made us, he could have, right? That we don't have to eat 3 times a day, twice a day halachically. Yeah? Except Shabbos 3 times. Hashem could have made it that we have to eat once a week. And it lasts for the week. Or we sleep once a week for the week. You wind it up for a week and it works for the week. Why did Hashem make halachically that you have to eat twice a day?
Because there should be rest.
Huh? Because there's the elevation of food that needs to be done twice a day.
If the mitzvah is above time, how come it's bound in time? Some of the mitzvah.
Because taking above time into time comes from the essence of Hashem, which is above both.